Yeah, I said a couple minutes ago, I said, Kansas City feels like, okay, they were going to get here. If I'd have said to you before the season, so Brady goes to a new team, pandemic, no preseason. His coach calls him out several times. They melt down on national TV. He screams at teammates. They have 13 penalties. They get beat at home by the Saints 38-3. And then the biggest game of the year, Brady throws 3 straight picks. You just said to yourself, oh, nice season. But that ended like 3 weeks ago. And I look at Tampa and I'm like, they have overcome for 5 months. I didn't think they'd be here. I still can't quite get my arms around it. Or how surprised are you they're here?
Well, on Labor Day weekend in my column, I picked the Bucs to win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, have I been surprised? Have I been surprised at the bumps in the road and they're still here? Somewhat. But, Colin, you will see this when the ultimate biography is done on the career of Thomas Edward Brady. The one thing you will see is that there are many, many times when in September and October, Brady looks like crap and the Patriots / Bucs look like crap.
Yeah.
Many times. And then it's exactly what I wrote about after he came back to beat Atlanta from 28-3. And I said in overtime and late in the fourth quarter, his 2 go-to receivers were Chris Hogan and Malcolm Mitchell. and I said to Brady a week after the game, I said, why? What are you doing? And he goes, hey, we practice. We get to know each other. And he said, honestly, with Chris Hogan, it is 122 practices. You know, that's what we've had during the year. So by the time we get to the end of the year, we're going to fit together like a pair of old gloves. And so you wonder right now, why is he able to throw that pass to Scotty Miller right before the half, beating Kevin King and getting a free touchdown? Why does he do that? Colin, on about August 10th, I was in Tampa. I saw his first full padded practice against the defense that day. Scotty Miller made a catch almost exactly like that, diving in the end zone right over one of the Tampa corners. And so all I'm saying is that practice, big moment. Don't be surprised at Brady.
So, you know, there's a lot going on in the NFL right now. And Saturday night, I'm sitting having a cup of coffee, just listening to music with my wife. And Goff and Stafford, my phone blows up. And I'm like, this is nuts. And it's interesting because the Rams gave up 6 picks to go get Goff and 3 to get rid of him. And they paid him. And for a year, they'll have dead money. To me, this trade said McVay was done with him. And that the owner has so much confidence in McVay, has such an utter belief in him, that he could go to him and say, I know we've paid him. I know it's 9 picks. I know. But do you believe in me? That's what it felt like to me. It was the owner saying, I believe in this kid. If Sean doesn't think we can win anymore with him, that's what it felt like to me. What did you make of the whole night?
That it was proof that Sean McVay totally lost faith in Jared Goff, and he wasn't going to win it back. Colin, in 2018, when you saw Jared Goff play football, he was like, for people of a certain age, he was like Darryl LaMonica when he got to the Oakland Raiders. He became the Mad Bomber. He was just throwing these rainbows out of the sky, and they were an incredibly deep striking team. Remember that Thursday night game on Fox in 2018, and it's Minnesota at the Rams.
Yeah,
beautiful night at the Coliseum, and there was a couple of long throws that Jared Goff made that were just absolutely beautiful. Bombs that dropped out of the sky right in the hands of his receivers. And all I'm saying is that if you watched the Rams this year, I got to tell you, I didn't watch every snap. They do not pressure the defense deep.
At all.
And that, in my opinion, I've never asked McVay about it. I don't know. I mean, I hopefully will find out about it in a few weeks. But I think this was all about he had lost the ability, or he had lost the confidence in Jared Goff's ability to be a game breaker.
So TJ Lang, former teammate of Aaron Rodgers, good buddy, says he's hell-bent on revenge. And I said, I understand being upset with Jordan Love. I kind of sided with Aaron Rodgers on this, in that Aaron Rodgers wakes up every morning, Peter, and the Seahawks are going out and get Jamal Adams, and the Rams are making deals with Jalen Ramsey, and the Saints are adding pieces, and Philadelphia is aggressive, and the Niners are aggressive. And, the Packers are out there putting their money away into the 401k, paying off their house. They've got sort of this kind of conservative mindset. This is how we do business. I do get him looking around and saying, could somebody open the bank up a little bit here? I kind of side with Aaron a little bit. I know, Aaron can be a little passive-aggressive, but I get his frustration. 10 years ago, the league didn't make trades like this, Peter. This wasn't the NFL. Now everybody in the NFC is aggressive.
Well, here's the way I look at this, Colin. It's the ultimate irony in Aaron Rodgers' career that when the Green Bay Packers didn't need a quarterback, they took a quarterback in the 20s of the draft in 2005 and had him sit for 3 years, and then he took over for Brett Favre. And how ironic is it that when the Packers don't need a quarterback 15 years later, they pick a guy in the 20s again to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, probably for 3 years, and then we'll see. Now, I think that Jordan Love has a much bigger chance to be Green Bay's Jimmy Garoppolo than he does of being Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers. But let's face it, Aaron Rodgers is tilting at windmills right now the exact same way that Brett Favre did 15 years ago. But I'll just say this. The one way I agree with you is that, so remember, they score late in the third quarter to go behind Tampa 28-23.
Yep.
All right? And they decide we're going for 2. So Aaron Rodgers, if this had been Tom Brady, he would have had in the end zone at that time Gronk, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, maybe Scotty Miller, maybe Cameron Brate to throw to. Aaron Rodgers throws a ball right in the hands of Equanimeous St. Brown, and he drops it.
Yeah.
So if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're thinking about that and looking at, basically I'm going into war with a BB gun, I'm sure he is frustrated.
Yeah.
But welcome to the Packers. This is the way they operate.
Finally, I noticed Andy Reid. I remember being on the air at the other place. This was about 12 years ago. And I said on the air, I said, Andy Reid's the first NFL coach I remember that 3rd and 2 is a passing down. And I said, this is a real kind of tough guy city, Philadelphia. We like our football tough. And I'm like, he's doing this clever finesse stuff. And I said, I don't know how many of you people are watching, but it's fascinating. They're like doing college drawn up stuff I've never seen. That was the first time I really thought about Andy Reid and recognized him. When did he get on your radar and people start telling you, because you've been around longer than I have covering this league, this Andy Reid guy is different. He is a play designer. He's clever. When did you first notice him?
Well, I mean, I've known Andy since I went to do a story for Sports Illustrated in 1995. I spent a week in Green Bay, a week in the life of the Packers. He was on that staff, and I got to know him briefly that week. And I just remember Andy Reid wanted to be a sports writer when he went to Brigham Young. He even wrote a column in that. So, he looked at me like, man, I'd love to have your job. But where I really started to notice him, and again, this is long past when he's winning big games. I thought that my opinion changed on him radically when he traded Donovan McNabb in the division a decade or so ago. Mm-hmm. And it changed radically because he said, hey, listen, I know a lot of you don't think this makes any sense, but I am going to do something that, even though it might not make sense to you, I have determined that, in my opinion, I'm not winning a Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb. I'm trading him. What happens in 2018 January of 2018, I'm not winning a Super Bowl with Alex Smith. We're trading him, and I'm giving the job to the kid. So I like someone who says, I know this goes against the grain, but I believe in it. And this is what Sean McVay is doing right now. Go ahead. Half the world's going to rip the crap out of me, and rightfully so, could be. But I trust Matthew Stafford to take us farther in 2021 than we went in 2020.
NBCSports.com, Peter King. Good stuff, good insight. Been covering this league a long time in detail. Read his stuff. Peter, appreciate it. Good stories today.
Thanks, Colin.
All right, good stuff. Eric.